This is Top 30. Coming up, this unique product is teaching consumers a lesson. Delta has new rules for flying with your dogs. And the secret's out, Amazon Prime Day has been leaked.
Welcome to the show. I'm Richard Bacon.
And I'm Kristen Smith. Here are today's 30 things you need to know. Boosting your home's resale value could be as easy as picking the right shade of paint. The real estate website Zillow conducted a paint color analysis of more than 135,000 homes that sold between 2010 and 2018. After controlling for things like square footage and local market prices, they found certain paint colors and design choices have a quantifiable effect on a home's resale value. For example, houses with black front doors saw more than a $6,000 bump in resale value. Tuxedo-style kitchen cabinets, where the upper cabinets are a lighter shade and the bottom ones are darker, had a $1,500 bump. Blue bathrooms, especially periwinkle blue, saw a $2,800 increase. But brick red kitchens hurt a home's price by more than $2,000. Experts say to choose colors with mass appeal that can work with a range of different furniture styles in order to maximize your home's resale value.
All right, let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend and mine, Nicole Pedalides. Nicole, Chipotle is making some changes to its menu.
That's right, Richard. Chipotle is experimenting with new menu items at its test kitchen in New York City. We're talking nachos, quesadillas, and avocado tostadas. If these sound like Taco Bell's menu, it could be because the new changes are being made under Chipotle's new CEO, who used to run Taco Bell. Good news for bargain hunters. An online leak revealed that Amazon Prime Day might start on July 16th. Last year's event lasted for 30 hours and was open to shoppers in 13 countries. The New York Stock Exchange only has one full-time female trader. She's with us now. This is Lauren Simmons of Rosenblatt Securities. Lauren, what distinguishes you from some of the other traders around here?
This floor, we are a community. It's fun, it's fast, it's loud. I love it. The one thing that is different is that I did not have any family previous to this, and I'm here on the floor as a new member.
Excellent to have Lauren on the show. Nicole, in New York, thank you.
Delta Airlines has banned all pit bull type dogs from their flights when it comes to service or support animals. The new policy goes into effect July 10th and also limits passengers to one service or support animal per person. And the Connors aren't going anywhere. Less than a month after ABC pulled the plug on the highly successful Roseanne reboot, they announced a spinoff. John Goodman, Laurie Metcalf, and Sarah Gilbert, along with the rest of the gang, will be back in their iconic roles for The Connors. It's slated to premiere this fall. Roseanne Barr will have nothing to do with the show and will receive no financial gain. And in 1998, Michael Gould took this photo with his dad for a Father's Day card and wrote, "When I get bigger, I'm going to be my dad's partner and catch bad guys and burglars." Well, 20 years later, Michael is a sheriff's deputy and managed to squeeze his 6'7" frame into the patrol car with his dad to recreate the photo. That is too sweet. Let's go to Danielle Knox now from Fox 35 Orlando. She has what you need to know today. So, Danielle, I hear relationships may not be the key to happiness.
Yeah, that's right, Kristen. Researchers around the world say the single life may be more fulfilling. Single people reportedly have closer ties with friends and family and have more time to pick up a new hobby. Single folks also tend to exercise more and eat healthier than those in relationships. Well, here's a question. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Introverts and extroverts enjoy completely different things. According to a study conducted by Evite, when it comes to receiving an invitation, for example, to go someplace, 55% of introverts feel anxious compared to just 18% of extroverts. Almost 30% of introverts are more quick to decline these social invites, while extroverts are more likely to choose pool or birthday parties. Introverts, well, they want to enjoy quieter events. Now, before I tell you this next story, remember there is no magic pill for weight loss. However, some British scientists say they've come up with a helpful injection. It's a hormone injection that they claim can help people lose 14 pounds in 4 weeks. Patients reported not feeling as hungry and didn't have as many cravings. Researchers say their test results were as good as gastric band surgery. They plan to publish their findings in a journal very soon. And that's what you need to know. Kristen, let's go back to you now.
Well, we'll see where this goes with further research, but nothing beats a healthy diet and exercise. Thanks, Danielle. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. Let's go to Andrea Robinson from Fox 10 in Phoenix. She has this week's life hacks. So Andrea, what do you have for us?
Well, hey, Kristen. Yes, life hacks for the week. This one is for all the parents out there, not just a mom hack, but if you have a little one that's gotten a hold of a permanent marker and made some art drawings on the wall, you can get rid of it easily with toothpaste. A little toothpaste on a wash rag or a washcloth, wipe it away, and then simply take water and wipe the excess toothpaste off, and it will come right off. Next up, another use for nail polish remover. It will clean the rubber portion of a shoe or a tennis shoe perfectly. Just put a little on a cotton ball or some sort of towel and rub a little bit. You have to use a little elbow grease to get it off, but once you do, they will shine like new and you will have no more scuff marks on your white tennis shoes. And lastly, a way to almost bring back a shrunk shirt back to its original size. Listen on this one because there's some steps to it. If you shrink a shirt in the dryer, simply take it, put it in a ice cold bath of water in a bowl, a cup of hair conditioner, let it soak. It will return to its original size. Put it in the washer on cold and lay it out to dry, and it will be back to new. Kristen, those are your life hacks this week. Back to you.
I love it. All great stuff. Thanks, Andrea. One famous internet cat has a new home, but it wasn't an easy journey. Chubbs was taken in by the Pasadena Humane Society earlier this month. The husky Himalayan was found wandering the streets of a California suburb with no microchip and no idea that he was closer to the weight of a medium breed dog. Chubbs weighed 29 pounds. Staff at the shelter took hours shaving off painful mats in his fur. They also put him on a diet. This belly up shot went viral after the shelter posted it online while trying to find the rotund cat's family. People from as far away as Wales came forward claiming Chubbs was theirs, but the shelter determined all the claims were fake and Chubbs was put up for adoption. But not for long. The Viola family was first in a long line to adopt Chubbs. They say they immediately fell in love. The shelter is encouraging people who missed out on Chubbs to come by and look at their other overweight cats. They say they're near capacity because of kitten season.
A quick-thinking 8-year-old boy was able to save his father's life because he paid attention in school. Max Pozzo was playing video games in his Calgary home when his dad Mike collapsed while making dinner. He was having a stroke, so Max immediately called 911. Max said, "I just stayed calm, but I was just so afraid and shocked that my dad was having a stroke." Only 5 days earlier, Max had learned the signs of a stroke during a jump rope for heart event at his elementary school. Because he was able to recognize those signs so quickly, his dad was able to receive treatment within hours of the stroke, drastically improving his chance of survival and recovery. After working hard to regain mobility in his left leg and arm, Mike was able to return to work as a firefighter earlier this month.
Well, great story. Top 30 will be right back.
Welcome back to Top 30. The Supreme Court has just ruled that police cannot use cell phone location records without a warrant. The decision is being seen as a win for privacy groups. Top 30 covered the original case where a man was arrested after police used cell phone records to place him near a crime scene. And this dates back to the case that we talked about before. In 2011, there was a robbery in Detroit, after which police gathered months of phone location data from Timothy Carpenter's phone provider. How about this for a number? Ready? They pulled together 12,898 different locations that he'd been over 127 days.
Yeah, that was a 4-month span, right?
Yeah,
really, they got his whole digital footprint, just like that, without a warrant.
It's amazing how many places humans go, isn't it?
Oh, in that amount of time, yeah. You know, phone location data has been I guess we could say a hot button issue for a long time now. This is the first ruling of its kind for the Supreme Court, though, and that's what makes this really interesting.
Very significant. If it's a live case, so say there's an active shooter out there, the police can then use cell phones and triangulate the towers and work out where someone is.
Yeah.
It's after the fact, gathering evidence where they'll have to get the warrant.
You can't just do the whole historical search.
No.
All right, good to know. Okay, let's move on to this story. Most of us look forward to summer all year, right? But a new study says many Americans also look forward to summer ending, especially if they have kids. Groupon surveyed parents and found most are ready for summer to be over, get this, after just 13 days.
Look, a long time to me.
58% of parents surveyed feel a lot of pressure to plan amazingness all summer long. I'm one of those parents. I am like, okay, we'll go to the YMCA this week, and then we'll do swim, karate, basketball, soccer. Okay, is that enough? Is that
all in the same day? That seems exhausting. You can't do swimming, basketball, and karate in the same day.
It feels like it.
There's actually an amazing number here, which is not amazing, but surprising, that the average family spends over $7,000 on their kids' summer.
Yeah, it makes me sad that 64% of parents feel that they let their kids down by the end of summer.
Yeah.
I think we're too hard on ourselves, parents. I really do. 64%, the kids are happy. I teach my son to just be grateful. The second he says, I'm bored, I'm like, listen, buddy, you need to be grateful.
I think that, a friend of mine once said there's no such thing as a boring situation, only a boring person. You've got to use your mind differently.
Absolutely.
I think when you boil it down, when you summarize it, what this report is saying is that after 13 days, parents find their kids annoying.
Well, they've got a lot of energy.
True.
Top 30, we'll be right back. In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 29 Philadelphia, students from Penridge High School in Percy, Pennsylvania are just days away from the last day of school. But before summer starts, a group of teens are turning in one last project. Since December, 5 of Matt Peitzman's students spent nearly 300 hours designing guitars for a statewide competition. And when they fell short of winning, the group of 9th through 12th graders decided to donate their hard work to veterans dealing with PTSD. A gift these students will truly never forget giving. Our next story from Fox 13 Tampa Bay. Officer Albert Granville has been on the Clearwater Police Force for 20 years. Previously serving in the military police, Officer Granville has dedicated his life to service and always with a kind word and smile. He was awarded the Civitan Club's Officer of the Year Award, an honor presented to an officer who has unselfishly given their time, talent, and energy to help better their community. Our final story from Fox 2 Detroit. Troy High School senior Leanna Fakori's lifelong goal was to walk to get her diploma at her high school graduation. Leanna has cerebral palsy and is bound to a wheelchair. Even though all of her doctors told her she couldn't, Leanna was determined. So she practiced until she had blisters. And despite the nerves, Leanna walked across that stage, bringing all of her classmates to their feet. Always an inspiration to her classmates, she left them with one lasting message. You can do anything you want to as long as you believe. Welcome back. A former NBA player who was a 3-time slam dunk champion says the league caused him depression. Nate Robinson is 5'9". He spent 11 years in the league. He says coaches always challenged his personality. He even told a story of a coach who was verbally abusive. Now, Nate Robinson referenced a couple of coaches, Larry Brown with the Knicks and then Tom Thibodeau with the Bulls. He said, Nate Robinson said he wrestled personally, so much so that he eventually got depression.
But actually what this story about is I think, changing cultural attitudes. There was a point, I think, quite recently when it was seen as almost normal in jobs like that for coaches to belittle people. It's good, this story. It's good he's spoken out because it represents change. They're the old days, and I think this, I believe and hope this is dying out.
But I don't know if people, I think the shocking thing about it is that the abuse actually has such a dramatic effect on people.
Yeah.
I don't know, just stories like this kind of bring that to the light.
That's why it's dying out. We were learning.
We're learning, people are talking about it.
Yeah. A lot of people who work for big companies wonder what the CEO does all day. Well, a new study from Harvard has the answer. Researchers followed 27 CEOs for a total of 60,000 hours and collected data in 15-minute increments. To be honest, if I was a CEO, I'd be slightly annoyed that my employees spent a lot of time wondering what CEOs do. Right? You don't really need to know. Look,
it is an interesting study, interesting fact that this study was even conducted.
Yeah,
You're right.
Look, 72% of their time is in meetings. Yeah, of course. Right? I mean, that's sort of what the job is in meetings.
A little bit, you know.
25% spent on people and relationships. 24% was communication was electronic. I mean, it's not. The only thing I suppose that stand out is they worked on almost 80% of their weekends and 70% of their vacation days.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. You know what surprised me though, and I think this might surprise you too, that CEOs prefer face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
Because you think they're just like shooting out emails all day, when really there's still value in face-to-face contact.
Well, there are a lot of CEOs who are a bit invisible in the companies and some aren't. And I guess they spoke to the ones that aren't.
Sounds like it. Yeah. All right, how about this story? A new product caught the attention of people at a festival in Vancouver. Hot dog water is basically a bottle of water with a hot dog in it.
Good.
It was selling pretty well. I mean, people bought about 16 gallons of hot dog water. The booth selling it had a big sign that said the water would help the drinker lose weight, increase brain function, and even look younger. What's amazing about this product, though, is there was small print on the sign. And you know you always got to read the small print. The small print reads, "Hot dog water, in its absurdity, hopes to encourage critical thinking related to product marketing and the significant role it can play in our purchasing choices."
Good for him.
You got taken.
Even though he said this ironically, maybe there's some truth to it. So he said as a joke, helps you look younger. Well, you're consuming water. Water helps you look younger. Increases brain function. Once you'd worked out you've been caught up in a clever scam to make you think about marketing, that increases your brain function.
Makes you think, yes.
And then he says helps the drinker lose weight. Well, if you drank from a bottle that had an old sausage decomposing in water, that may well create a reaction in your body that causes you to lose weight. So he could have been telling the truth all along.
Brilliant marketing. That's what that is.
Exactly. Top 30 will be right back. Time now for Royal Watch with The Sun. Let's join the legendary Arthur Edwards, The Sun's royal photographer for 40 years. He's live in his hometown of Essex. Arthur, welcome back.
It's a pleasure to be back, Richard.
Now, Meghan Markle's dad, Thomas, gave an interview to Good Morning Britain. What was the reaction to it?
The most important thing he said, as far as I was concerned, when Harry asked for permission to marry Meghan, he said, "You're a gentleman," he says. "As long as you don't raise a hand to her, you have my permission."
I was sat in a restaurant with my father-in-law the other day. I said, "Oh, my God, how about that?" We were sitting right here when I said to you, "Can I marry Rebecca?" And without missing a beat, he just said, "Should have said no." Deadpan as well. Yeah. I think he meant it. Harry's views on Donald Trump were give him a chance. Is that right?
Yeah, he said that about Donald Trump. He said give him a chance. And I think that's a pretty fair answer. And Donald Trump's coming to the country in a couple of weeks' time, I bet in 3 weeks' time. And his first stop is going to see Her Majesty the Queen, which is pretty important. You know, we have to remember he is the President of the United States. We have to forget the person he is, and of course the Queen will, but the public won't. I'm sure there'll be demonstrations outside the palace, but the Queen will just be perfect. She'll greet him, she'll talk about the weather, and she'll talk about her horses, and he'll talk about his golf clubs and, you know, locking up the kids. When I saw those kids in that thing, it choked me up a bit, you know, and people crying on television here about it, you know. It's quite a shocking thing, but, you know, he's changed his mind again, thank God.
I think as a result of that policy, the demonstrations in Britain are going to be absolutely enormous, but we'll see. Arthur, you're the best. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Take care, Richard. Bye-bye. See you next week.
Most 44-year-olds aren't thinking about playing professional football. But then again, most 44-year-olds can't run a 40-yard dash in about 4.4 seconds. That's video of former NFL wide receiver Terrell Owens, who will soon be inducted into the league's Hall of Fame. He last played in the NFL in 2010 when he was 37. That's considered ancient for a receiver in the league. But now a team in the Canadian Football League may be interested in signing him. There are reports that Edmonton Eskimos have added T.O. to their negotiation list. T.O. has indicated he would like to make a comeback with an NFL team, but hasn't said much about the possibility of playing in Canada. So we'll have to wait and see if the 44-year-old decides to put on the pads one more time and showcase his talent.
All right. Top 30 will be right back.
Welcome back. It's summer vacation time, and Elizabeth Stanton from Popstar Magazine is here to take us to a premier desert destination. So, Liz, you've taken us all over the world, but I hear you found a classic getaway that's only miles outside of LA.
That's right, Kristen. Palm Springs has been one of the most popular weekend escapes in Southern California for decades. Notorious gangster Al Capone hid out there, and classic Hollywood A-listers Clark Gable, Frank Sinatra, and Marilyn Monroe frequented the city. In Palm Springs, the natural beauty of the city's oasis and surrounding protected lands are a perfect match for the man-made adventures. For a great overview, the Palm Springs aerial tram will take you to the top of the desert, where you may even find snow on a hot day. There are all kinds of amazing tours too. You can take a guided Jeep tour to see the San Andreas Fault and visit a Cahuilla Indian village, or learn all about wind power at one of the largest wind farms in the country. Finally, for a truly epic desert adventure, visitors can rent ATVs and head out into the desert for a dusty good time on the Canyon Trail. All of this said, Kristen, I wouldn't hold it against you if you just wanted to lounge poolside. After all, that's the quintessential Palm Springs pastime. Back to you.
Well, that's definitely where you'd find me. Thanks, Liz.
All right, that is it for today's Top 30. Here's what's coming up on the next show. A new report breaks down this year's dangerous summer toys. Plus, this is the first American airport to use facial recognition on travelers. And when their sons were diagnosed with a rare condition, these parents took action. You can also listen to the day's biggest stories by subscribing to the new Top 30 podcast. See you next time here on Top 30.